You clicked for sabotage. You're in the right place. This is the story of a patient trap. 3 Russian oil pipelines, allowed to load to full capacity, then cut. Why wait? Because timing turns damage into leverage. We'll break down the logic of targeting fuel lifelines, the kind of effects commanders want, and how a single coordinated hit can ripple from the front line to the refinery. What would you do? Strike early for safety or wait for maximum pressure? Comment your choice below. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. Costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. 3 lines full. 1 strike at the minute. Patience beats speed when the target is a pressurized steel serpent. Why?
Shifting focus in another attack inside Russian territory, an oil pipeline's administrative building has been damaged. There is growing evidence that at least 2 Ukrainians were involved in the attack, which was previously reported to have been carried out by a pro-Ukrainian group. An explosion followed a drone attack near the Russia-Belarus border. Local Russian governor says that no casualties were reported in the incident.
Because energy war is about timing, not just firepower. Pipelines are not passive tubes. They are the moving blood of an army's engine room. Crude runs to refineries. Diesel runs to railheads. Aviation fuel runs to forward depots. Capacity sounds like volume, but the real game rides on pressure, flow rate, and tight scheduling windows that choreograph batch movement, tank turnovers, and pump cycles. When those align, the line reaches a fragile balance. That balance is leverage. You could cut early. It's safer. Fewer patrols. Less traffic. But the disruption is shallow. Tanks are half full, valves are mostly shut.
The attack was reportedly carried out by 2 unmanned aerial vehicles in Russia's Pskov region. An international probe was launched into the incident, which is yet to conclude, but 2 new leads are pointing in the direction of Ukraine. The incident of explosion was less than 10 kilometers from the Russia-Belarus border.
And spare capacity can pick up the slack. Wait and you get risk. More eyes, more sensors, more chance of a random crew truck rolling by. But the payoff is a cascade. Miss the peak by an hour and the shock wave drains to a puddle. Hit it to the minute and the grid locks itself. Operational logic is simple and ruthless. Strike when tanks are brimmed so the surge has nowhere to go. Strike when valves sit open and pump stations are synchronized.
So far, the Russian side has not pointed a finger at Ukraine, but Moscow has previously blamed Kiev for similar incidents in the past. On this 26th of September last year, explosion was reported in parts of 3 out of 4 of the German-Russian gas pipelines. Ukraine has never publicly acknowledged its role behind the attacks on Russian soil. It has nonetheless welcomed the same.
So the rupture triggers a sudden loss of pressure across multiple nodes. The control room reads a pressure drop, trips alarms, and the safety tree kicks in. Back pressure builds, surge relief valves open, then automatic shutdown protocols isolate segments. Not one stretch, several. Each isolation order chokes more capacity and buys more paralysis. Operators fight to control flow, but they must follow their own rules. They throttle pumps, close block valves, and vent sections. That takes time. During peak operations, the system is stretched tight, so any cut translates into more emergency steps, more interlocks to clear, more checks to run. The enemy becomes its own playbook.
Pentagon leaks that took the world by surprise in April this year also mentioned that Ukrainian leadership was growing more audaciously, bombing a pipeline that transfers Russian oil to Hungary and privately pining for the long-range missiles to hit targets inside.
Now layer the clock. Maintenance cycles create windows when lines run harder before and after scheduled outages. Export schedules stack load toward fixed ship slots or rail departures. Those rhythms form predictable choke hours. Night shift matters. Fewer senior controllers, fewer field techs, longer radio relays. Weekends run heavy on throughput to meet Monday commitments but light on support. That gap widens the damage window. It's not magic. It's workload versus watchfulness.
Lately, the leaked U.S. intelligence documents say Ukraine was planning on occupying Russian villages to gain leverage over Moscow. The latest attack comes at the same time when the news reports are revealing new insights into the mysterious Nord Stream pipeline.
Think of a rail hub when trains are fully coupled. Pull one pin and the yard freezes. In a pipeline at full load, a single rupture triggers environmental and safety procedures that don't just slow the stream. They freeze the grid. Spill containment crews must roll. Air monitoring must clear. Recovery teams must trench, cut, and clamp. Until those boxes are checked, nothing else can move. A cheap breach buys expensive downtime. The clock punishes on paper too. Insurance clauses kick in when flow is at or near peak, which forces formal incident reports and third-party verification. Regulators demand notifications, scene control, and independent inspection. Refineries must flare excess gas and rebalance units, which creates flare-off limits and air permits that reset the restart timeline. None of that is optional. All of it adds days to an hour-long cut. Markets read the same clock. Traders don't wait for welders. They watch capacity at peak and price risk. If a line goes down when throughput is maxed, the assumption is simple. Repairs will be slower, inventories will be out of position, and replacement barrels will arrive late. That expectation widens spreads and pressures budgets far beyond the hole in the pipe. A physical strike becomes a financial lever. This is why timing multiplies force. One coordinated breach at full capacity forces shutdowns across linked segments, drags operators through longer repair cycles, and signals that the attacker can read the grid's heartbeat. You spend less ordnance and get more effect. You turn steel into a message. So the question turns practical. You aren't in the control room. You don't see the pump curves. Yet the minute still matters. There is a way to read the flow from the outside. You can watch the rhythm through its seams. Now, how do you know the exact minute the flow peaks without being inside the control room? Fuel lines decide tempo. Hit at peak load and one cut echoes from trench to trading floor. Not theory, operators, insurers, regulators, and traders all move when pressure snaps. The effect stacks. Field units stall. Refineries rebalance. Markets price risk. You want that mindset. Timing into force. If you want the mindset that wins these edges, subscribe and tell me, would you strike early for safety or wait for maximum pressure? Comment your choice below. Small teams, smart timing, outsized effects. That's the lesson. The next move is reading the grid's rhythm in real time, quiet sensors, open source windows, and the gaps humans leave on long shifts.